welcome to the EngageTech YouTube channel. This YouTube series is a series of product demos from the New South Wales EngageTech Forum. So today we've got EngageTech and we've got Albert Matthews from EngageTech who's going to talk about Harava, one of the products that was showcased at the forum that was held on the 1st of November in Sydney. Thanks for joining us, Albert, and welcome.
No, thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be here today.
Great, so Albert's just going to do a 15-minute demo of his product, show us some of the features, and then after that I'm going to ask him a couple of questions, and they're the exact same questions that I'm asking all the providers, and hopefully everything you need to know to decide whether or not this is the right tool for you. Albert, let's hand over to you and your prezzo.
Great, thank you very much. Okay, so EngageTech, who are we? We're an independent holistic community engagement solution consultancy. We have a number of digital tools that we use. So we were founded in 2016, based in Melbourne, Victoria, and we basically service local councils, state government departments, agencies, and mid to large enterprises. Some of our recent projects have included the Moreland City Council, which I'll be showing you a bit later in this presentation. Victorian Planning Authority, which is a project we did around the Preston Market, and we're doing a survey at the moment for IAP2, which you may or may not be aware of. But just on our engagement transformation and our consulting practice, we have a methodology, and as you can see by the diagram, there's basically 3 steps. We can manage the engagement for you. So if you don't have the resources to do it, or you're new at engaging, we can go all the way from go to woe. So from mapping your stakeholders all the way through to presenting the engagement. We have collaborative approach. So you may be engaging, but you need an additional resource, or you want to have another person come in or another group come in and help you with your current engagement project. So we can work collaborative with you, or optimize. You may be engaging completely now by yourself, everything's fine, you're really happy, you just want an independent organisation to come in and just have an overview of the engagement you're currently doing, and we can provide a bit of a feedback on where you're doing really well and potential for improvement. But basically we're here today to talk about one of the digital tools that we have, which is Harava, and as it says, it's an interactive map-based online engagement tool for smart planning. But in a nutshell, or in other words, Harava is ideal for project-based consultation, where a visual approach, providing a map of an area overlaid with plans or alternative plans, and inviting feedback or discussion, will provide the best possible outcome. The use of the map to communicate and to engage, to collect feedback, has been shown to be an ideal way of increasing community engagement and resulting in higher participation. Harava is easily enabled users to drop a pinpoint and report issues such as traffic problems and other features in real time, reporting and connectivity with other systems via its APIs. Some of the challenges that we come across when we're speaking with potential customers is they want to increase participation, they need to design and implement online engagement efficiently, they want to know how to communicate complex engagement projects clearly, and how to loop back the feedback and ideas into a planning process. Harava, as it says there, is a European-based leading location-based community engagement tool. It has a very easy user drag and drop based editor. Again, visually communicating maps to engage and to collect feedback and ideas. You don't need any IT knowledge or investment, because it's all hosted in the cloud, and in Harava's case, in Australia, it's an Australian servers. And as it says, the UK has listed Harava in their compendium of good practice. So some of the benefits, and you'll probably heard some of these benefits for other digital tools as you've been looking at those. Saves time on creating engagement projects, cost savings by using mainly digital channels. But the benefit that we see with Harava that puts it above and above anything else is it's easy to communicate to the public with visual content and direct engagement. Again, so we get back to that, the fact that it's a map, and the map tells is it really easy to tell a story. So what can Harava do? Again, with the spatial data, and again, you're allowed to, it has spatial data, so you can bring in your own maps, or it comes with maps. And again, it just allows you to easily identify and answer questions on a map. You have inquiry forms with multiple content types. You can manage events and real-time reporting of and connectivity with the system via their APIs and utilising the system's own base maps. But as I said, you can bring in your own maps, and it works on all devices. So some just examples of Harava. This is, I don't want to do death by PowerPoint, but this is an example of a small town in Finland called Vantaa. And as you can see from the project objectives, they're looking at doing some facelifts to improve the living environment around their riverside city centre. As a result of using Harava, they got 245 answers, 519 comments on a map. And as you can see, these are some of the comments they received. This is a typical spatial representation via what they call a heat map. And as you can see, most of the questions came in, or most of the comments came around the silk factory. There was a lot of comments around the dam that's there. So yeah, it just again a visual representation of using a map. So what did Vantaa gain? As I said, they had 519 online comments as compared to 20 paper-based comments that they received. The total cost was reduced to €7 per participant versus 140 euros per participant. And largely the public seemed satisfied with the results of using Harava. So again, some examples. Okay, so the example we have here is the one I was talking about previously, Moreland City Council. This is the enclosed dog park test questionnaire. As you can see, they've identified 3 parks that they're interested in getting feedback on. And if we open up the your vote, you can see this map on the screen. You'll see these green areas here. These are all the parks within the municipality. You'll see these 3 parks, the 3 orange ones, the 3 orange parks just there. They're the ones that are currently being suggested. Someone can actually go in and drop a pin here and put a comment. I would prefer this park. Or they can actually go in and say, oh, look, I really want the Parker Reserve in Coburg, and then write some comment. Great park for dogs. Mm-hmm. And then if they want to, they've asked for information that you can provide information. So you put your email, your name, your email address, whether you live in the suburb or not. But all this is customizable. So when you create the actual survey yourself, on the Harava site and through EngageTech, there is a demo version that you're more than welcome to go in and have a play with. It gives you an idea of some of the flexibility of some of the types of questions that can be asked. Again, this is setting one up, and just come up with some suggestions and ideas. And again, you pick your area. You can geo-fence the area that you want to do. So if all I want to do is query that part, for example, I can then go and ask questions about that part. You can have lines. So, being in Melbourne, I want a new tram line that comes here. So you can then, you can have lines, you can have points and polygons. So it's very easy to identify the particular area you want to survey on. We also, on our website, we have the Harava pricing. So please don't hesitate to get on the website and have a look at that pricing. I'll just switch back now to the slideshow. So just in a moment.
Great.
Yeah, okay. So that's it for the presentation. I'm hoping we got some questions coming my way. And I see that you've just muted the. I won't be able to hear your questions, or you won't be able to hear because that's it. You're unmuted. There we go.
Great. Thanks very much, Albert. Okay, so what I normally do now is I summarise where I see the product fitting on what I refer to as the EngageTech Spectrum. So the EngageTech Spectrum shows where different technologies that are available on the market fit for purpose. So how you might use these types of tools for your engagement objectives. And this, you mentioned that this tool has a survey, and we also saw some visual maps. I saw two types of visual maps, Albert. I saw maps that allow you to present information to the community to get them engaged, but also you showed some heat mapping where you were mapping of comments that were being received throughout the project. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
And that heat mapping is part of the reporting features within Harava, which are fairly limited, but they do things like heat maps, which are great.
And so can I just confirm, are those heat maps, that visual representation of the data being collected, is that something that you have the option of making public, or is that something that's just available to the project team who are running the engagement as an internal view?
You have the option to either make it public or keep it internal. As the, I suppose, for want of a better word, the administrator of that particular project,
Yep.
you then have the ability to make that public, or, as you said, keep it for just the people within the project.
Excellent, thanks Albert. So looking at the EngageTech Spectrum, I see this product, Harava, as being something that allows you to visualise. So you can visualise both the information being collected and also visualise information about the community and invite comment. It looks like, in particular, you can crowdsource ideas and suggestions on that map, Albert. Where does the survey fit in? Would you maybe ask questions also on the map?
Yeah, there's no reason why you couldn't. And an example, again, for Moreland City Council was, they were looking at a park. They were looking to where to put a amenities block within that park. So they actually asked questions about, where from the community where that amenities block should be placed, and also provided with a map they could actually show where it would be on the map. And that was very useful for them.
And so just one more qualifying question. Would you roll over the map to find the questions, or would you have the questions separate to the map and then people could drop a pin on the map to represent their answers? How does that work? Which one of those is it? Well,
basically, you would have the map and they could drop a pin and ask the questions on the pin when they drop the pin on the map. So that's where they'd ask their questions. You are able to ask questions outside of the map.
Yep.
Like we said, one of the strengths we believe with Harava is the fact that it is map based and it's very visual, and that's helps with the engagement process.
Yeah, map-based engagements are very popular, and if anyone's done community engagement before, they'll know even if you have a map on the wall at a face-to-face event, it's the first place that people go, and they want to know, where do I live and how does this affect me? So it's great to see some more map-based engagement solutions popping out. What I can see from this solution is that it's a useful tool for crowdsourcing suggestions and ideas on a map within a particular area. And it sounds like from Albert's responses to my question as well, that you can use it for consultation. So you can present information on the map and then ask people to provide answers to those questions by dropping a pin and showing the location of their suggestion and idea, maybe for traffic lights or something of that nature. So you can crowdsource, consult, and you can also visualize information that's being collected through your engagement and publish it, from what I understand. Thanks, Albert.
That's fine.
So as a community engagement professional looking at this tool, if that sounds like something that I would want to do, and working with government, I'm going to need to talk to my IT team about getting approval to use this kind of product, and probably also my web manager. So Albert, how does this kind of product integrate with, particularly, first of all, a government website? For example, we might have already a project website or an organisational website. How, for example, Moreland, how are they using this? Is this a standalone site? Is it a page on their website? How does it work?
Well, it's actually, in that particular case, it was a page on their website. So basically a URL link on their website, which then opened up the, their particular Harava webinar. But Harava has a lot of APIs, which allows for the data that's collected to be basically brought back into a back-end system. It may be a planning system or a GIS system, wherever it may be. So there is a number of APIs that allow for the data that's collected to go back into, as I said, the back end, and so more analysis can be done of the data that's been collected.
Great. Well, I'll ask you that question now then. What sort of reports and data can you get out of the system? Would you do the analysis within the system? I know that one of the things you showed was the heat map of feedback that's being collected. So you've obviously got some sort of like ways of presenting data collected and reporting that back. Can you do the analysis inside the system, or do you recommend specifically doing it outside?
You can do the analysis inside the system. Like I said, it is fairly limited, and I'm happy to show you some of that now. But a lot of organisations are exporting, using the APIs to get the data and put it into their back-end system, where they do a lot more sophisticated analysis. But if you'd like to, if you'd just like to hold on for a sec, I'll show you some of that right now.
Yeah, that sounds good. But maybe I should ask this question before we move on to a bit more demo, Albert, which is, it is actually about data and data storage as well, which is why I thought it might be useful to talk about that now. I know in your opening you talked about hosting of the data in the local country. Is that correct? So as an Australian organisation, if I'm in a local government, a state government or federal government in Australia, is the data that you're collecting on these maps, is that being stored in Australia?
Yes, yeah. The cloud servers are Australian-based cloud servers. So yeah, all the data is collected, is maintained and stored in Australia. And as you being the owner of that particular product, you have total control over all that data that's collected. EngageTech and Harava don't have any control over that at all.
Great. So that's fantastic. So, as somebody working with government and helping government select these tools, that data security and the, respect for privacy and how that data is managed is really, really important. And it's something that as a community engagement professional who's looking at using these tools, you need to have that conversation with your CIO, your CTO, and your privacy officer often. So we've found that that's probably one of the top couple of questions to ask about, from a technical perspective about the product. So I'd love you to show us a little bit more of the reports now, because that's really, as a community engagement professional and as a project manager, we're really looking for okay, now that we've got over the hurdle of procuring the product, using the product on our project, where's that value coming from? How can we show what's come out of the project?
Okay, so I'm happy to do that. If you just give me a moment, I'll switch over now.
Sure.
So I just stopped sharing because what I'll do now is bring the other bit up and we'll share again, okay?
Perfect, thank you.
I'm getting the hang of it. Let me go. Where are we? Here we go. And I think I've also got Okay, so as mentioned, this is some of the reporting features. This is of a demo report that we did. As you can see, there are some different ways to present the data, and again, being a map-based tool, you can actually show in maps basically what it is. And again, it is fairly basic, but yeah, it is. It's a really good way of if you want to do some basic analysis, this is one of the good ways of doing it.
Looks like it provides a nice quick overview, Albert.
Yep.
Yeah, very easy to use and a nice quick overview. Yeah.
Okay.
And you talked about exporting data as well. And I noticed on your map, it was quite a detailed map that you had on there. And, one of the things that I think is really important to highlight when we look at these products is how they integrate with other tools. Particularly when you're having that conversation with your CTO and your CDO. So are you using GIS? What are the ways that people can show their data on the map? And is there an integration with the types of tools that government agencies are already using when it comes to sort of spatial data?
Yes, there is. I mean, the map, Harava comes with a base map, but a lot of organisations these days have their own base map. They may be using Bing, Google Maps, OpenStreetMaps, they also may have their own layers. So you can bring all those in and into Harava. You can have your own maps with your own layers. And as I said, the APIs allow you to integrate with the existing systems that are out there.
Excellent. I definitely think that APIs are the way to go. Like, no one tool can provide all of our needs for engagement these days. And as you say, it's useful to be able to like integrate with existing mapping tools, but also to like export and analyze data and then be able to visualize that is fantastic. So thanks, Albert. That's been a really useful demo. Is there anything else that you'd like to highlight as a point of difference of this particular product? I know that EngageTech are looking at a couple of different products. What have you seen that's been sort of a real value add for people using this kind of product?
Well, again, I probably harped on it a bit. It's about the map and the way that a map can tell a story. And I think you mentioned early on in the presentation, if you're talking to somebody and they see a map, they quickly want to see where they live and how what's going to affect them. It just tells the story really quickly, really simply, and it's just a great way to communicate.
Yeah, I can certainly see its value in sharing particular changes that are going to happen in a neighbourhood and helping people to understand that, and also crowdsourcing ideas for what people would like to see in their neighbourhood. Footpaths, street lights, all that sort of thing, dog parks, which we know is a big hot issue in local government. So thanks so much, Albert. I really appreciate your time today. One of the other things I want to highlight that I saw as a value in your presentation was the evaluation of effectiveness of the engagement method, and you mentioned cost per participant. That's really unique. I haven't seen much assessment of engagement and the use of technology for engagement measured in that way, and I think that's a really interesting metric for those of us who are doing engagement using technology for engagement to consider as well. Thanks, Albert. And if people want to get in touch with you and learn more about Harava, where should they go?
Look, please just go to our website, www.arnatech.com.au. Send us an email at info@arnatech.com.au or give us a call on 03 8630 2830.
Great, thank you, Albert. And as Albert said, EngageTech have a range of different products. I know that he and Christian and some of the other members of the team are looking at the different types of tools that are available around the world and making sure that they're available in Australia and meeting some of those government requirements like data security and the storage of data in Australia. So if you're looking at looking for something a little bit different, have a look at what Albert and Christian and their team have at EngageTech. Thanks very much for listening, everybody.
Cheers.